Marketing and advertising your events. Unless your event is a ceremony or social event that is by invitation only, in which case the invitation is the key marketing you need for acquiring attendees, you, the event planner, will be responsible for selling the event in order to reach the attendee numbers goal you established with your client in the early event planning stages. In this discussion, we'll be using the terms marketing and advertising interchangeably. Now let's take a look at the marketing and advertising vehicles available to you. Ambient marketing, also known as bathroom advertising, coffee cup and placemat advertising, and gas pump advertising, ambient advertising types encompass pretty much everything that doesn't fit into any other categories. As the nickname implies, you'll find ambient advertising on paper products, urging you to purchase sodas and sundries through gas station pump speakers, or on plumbing and heating specialist tickets adhered to your furnace and water heater, etc. For the most part, ambient advertising relies on repeated subliminal messaging. People don't typically act on it right then and there, but when the word plumber comes to mind, for example, the name on that water heater sticker will be the first in line of your memory. Ambient advertising can be very effective for regional events, especially if they're annual events, and impulse events, meaning people might have their breakfast at a local diner, see that your car, flower, or fashion show is taking place that day, and decide to check it out. This type of advertising also works well if you are pre-selling tickets to an area event, as it informs the locals when the event will take place, where and how to purchase tickets, ideally at the location of the ambient placement and at an early bird discount. Broadcast marketing. Television and radio advertising has long been a key advertising staple for products, services, and events. It has the ability to reach huge audiences repetitively and has a long-standing reputation for being the easiest way to access information on regional happenings. Network television advertising accessibility for events depends on the size of regional network market and associated costs. The bigger the market, the higher the advertising rate as a rule. Whereas cable channel advertising may advertise your event to a very broad demographic, but the rate should be low enough that even if you're advertising outside your chosen demographic, it doesn't matter because the cost per contact for those inside it is affordable. Radio advertising, on the other hand, is usually very region-specific. If you have an extensive geographic demographic, you may need to advertise with quite a few stations in order to reach your audience. Television and radio advertising are best suited to open attendance events that draw large crowds of people who come from a variety of demographics. Remember to discuss sponsorship opportunities with your broadcast media contacts in order to defray costs. Covert marketing. Covert advertising is almost always brand recognition advertising. For example, when you're watching a movie or television show and a can of Coke or a box of Tide or an Apple computer are prominently displayed in the scene, that's covert advertising. Covert advertising takes quite a lot of very early pre-planning and is expensive. It is also evergreen, meaning that that can of Coke will be in a scene for as long as the movie is in circulation. The expense of covertly advertising an event is usually prohibitive, but if the event is an annual occurrence and always will be, it could be a viable advertising vehicle. Cross-media marketing. Cross-media marketing refers to the practice of using multiple types of media at the same time, print, broadcast, web, ambient, etc., to promote products, services, and events. There are a number of advertising techniques that work well in all or most medias. They include bandwagon advertising. In bandwagon advertising, your overall message is, everyone else is going to my event and you should too. For the most part, bandwagon techniques involve inundating every media with as much of your message as you possibly can to get the most people possible to hop on board your bandwagon. Celebrity endorsement marketing. If you can get a celebrity or celebrities to sing the praises of your event, you've easily quadrupled the effectiveness of your advertising campaign. Take advantage of the endorsement by placing it in every media you can afford at the highest frequency possible. Promotional advertising. Be careful with promotional marketing because it is often regulated by state gaming laws. However, if you come up with an incentive program for building your attendee base, a prize drawing for example, look at all your media possibilities as most are suitable for incentive or promotional advertising. Public service announcement. Public service announcements, or PSAs, are free advertisements most media types give to nonprofits and the events they host. If your event is free, in the public interest, or is benevolent in nature, you'll find that television, radio, print, and outdoor media are especially inclined to offer you free PSAs. Testimonial advertising. When you have attendees from previous similar events or people who presented at them who are happy to speak highly of your event and encourage participation in it, this is testimonial advertising. Like PSAs, testimonies are cross-media appropriate. Direct mail marketing. Although we have a category for internet and mobile device advertising, we consider email, text messaging, and e-newsletter broadcasts direct mail marketing. Direct mail has traditionally meant the sending of information through the postal service, but has expanded to include digital messaging and even parcel carriers like FedEx and UPS. We advise that you use direct mail when you have a pre-qualified list of people you want attending your event, as it can be very cost prohibitive to acquire lists and do blind mailings. Also remember that mass emailings to strangers is considered spamming, which is illegal. Whether in print or digital, direct mail pieces include, but are not limited to, postcards, invitations, letters, brochures, flyers, newsletters, CDs, and novelty items that invite and inspire attendance. Direct mail is suitable for all events, although less so for huge ones that are attended anonymously through ticket sales and entry fees. Event marketing. Yes, it might be appropriate to market your event at another event. For example, let's say you're planning a Chicago-based symposium on sustainable gardening and farming, and 6 months before your symposium there's a 7-day agricultural exposition in that same city. You may want to set up a booth and encourage attendees of that show to come to the symposium while you network with other attendees to identify topics and presenters for your event. Internet and mobile device marketing. By the time you finish watching this video, another new method of internet and mobile device advertising will probably have evolved, but the most prevalent cross-browser forms include blog advertising. Blogs are essentially online journals with the most recent posting at the top of the list. They can be internal or public and serve both as an advertisement or a place where you can purchase advertising. We encourage event planners to blog about their events and look into advertising their events on other people's blogs that appeal to the attendee demographic. Contextual and keyword advertising. Contextual advertising is essentially a database of ads that are associated with keywords. If you are reading a page about hybrid cars, for example, a keyword scanner will look at the page, then put in an ad that has corresponding keywords. This type of advertising can place the ads for your event on the web pages that discuss topics relevant to it, thus targeting people who have already demonstrated interest in your event content. Mobile advertising. Mobile advertising is a system by which digital ads are transmitted to mobile devices via the device's identification number, phone number for example, and based on demographic information about that device user. This system can be useful and effective for event planners who have an established list of potential attendees. Pixel advertising. Pixel advertising consists of buying pixels on web pages. The more pixels you buy, the larger your ad or message space is on that page. It is the web equivalent of print display advertising. Web banner advertising. Banner ads are set pixel-sized display ads for web pages that are displayed prominently, typically at the visual top of the page. All internet or website advertising can be useful to event planners in that websites often have broad appeal to very precisely defined demographic groups who repeatedly visit the site and trust and appreciate the topical advertising therein. Outdoor marketing. Billboards, sidewalk kiosks, bus benches, and public transportation signage, buses and taxis, are all examples of outdoor marketing. For the most part, outdoor advertising is best suited to advertising your public event within the weeks before it begins to keep the event fresh in the minds of its intended audience. As with broadcast media, outdoor advertising is best suited to events where the public is welcome. Personal contact marketing. For small events, attendee bases of less than 500 people who are in tight demographic profile, making personal phone calls to build the attendee base is very effective. Follow these calls up with regular emails to obtain written commitments of attendance. Print marketing. Newspapers, magazines, trade publications, and other circulated print materials are worth advertising in if they reach your specified demographic and have a loyal readership. Also remember to supply print and broadcast media contacts with all your press releases. If you're advertising with them, they'll print your releases for sure, and if your event is benevolent or charitable, they'll likely give you that free advertising even if you haven't purchased print advertising. Public relations marketing. Public relations marketing consists of ongoing contact with media point people who make your event into news. Although effective public relations, often called press relations, campaigns are time-intensive, they typically have a huge payoff in that members of the news media broadcast information about your event before, during, and frequently after it, which is great publicity for the next event if it's an annual or periodic affair. Social media marketing. Although social media marketing fits readily under the Internet and mobile device category, it really deserves its own category. Social media advertising is the art and science of building buzz about your event through social networking outlets such as Facebook and Twitter, as well as through viral marketing, the spontaneous mass exchange of certain information between millions of Internet users via such services as YouTube. Social networking very effectively connects people with common interests and can work very well for topic-specific event marketing, and it's essentially free. Strategic alliance and cooperative marketing. If you have the opportunity to co-market your event through the advertising of your expo vendors, sponsors, or the companies your presenters represent, do so. All of these companies or individuals have established a loyal following that has an interest in the types of issues, products, or services your event may incorporate. Your allies may also have negotiated discounted bulk advertising that you can put your event bug, which is a small knockout of information, on for very little investment. Surrogate marketing. Advertising indirectly is only used by companies or interests who are not allowed to advertise in mainstream media. For example, when hard liquor was banned from print advertising, many companies' products popped up being used by people in ads for completely unrelated products. Although an interesting practice and effective workaround in some cases, we have a hard time imagining when surrogate marketing would be necessary for event planners. In fact, if it's your only option, you should question if anything the client is asking you to do may be illegal or have undesirable consequences. Teleconference and webinar marketing. Holding pre-event mini-events is a great way to make people hungry for more. Using blogging as a way to advertise these types of presentations is a good way to get people who are already interested in what your event encompasses to preview it online. Word of mouth marketing. Every single one of the advertising methods we've discussed encourages word of mouth advertising, the buzz between people who have no stake in your event but want to talk it up. Don't be afraid to ask your attendees to spread the word about annual events at the end of a successful one. They'll be happy to oblige. While you are developing your marketing plan, look closely at all the advertising vehicles available to you and consider creating a rubric that gives you a one-look way of evaluating where you'll get the best bang for your buck. Make a list of marketing outlets, specific sites, magazines, radio stations, etc. down the left, then form columns representing on a scale of 1 to 10 how targeted the outlet is to your potential attendee base, how many of them they circulate to, what an average ad costs, etc. In this way, you'll be able to make an informed decision about what advertising efforts will be the most cost-effective and return the best results. In most cases, you'll want to utilize a media mix. In all cases, remember to maximize media sponsorship opportunities and take good free publicity wherever you can get it. If you don't have someone in-house to handle your advertising public relations, consider contracting with an advertising agency that specializes in marketing events. With the right advertising mix, all your events will be at capacity with exactly the audience for which the event is intended.